SLT Fibre and experience the power of fibre technology. Sri Lanka's only super fast internet connection. SLT Fibre. Call 1212 now.
Tonight, Pujit and Hemasiri. Supreme Court grants leave to proceed with case. UMP SLFP meet. Late night meeting proves inconclusive. AG is backing. Gotabaya gets a reprieve from the Attorney General's department from dual citizenship saga. Filling the Rukshi's shoes. An acting Solicitor General appointed. All these stories and much more coming your way this Wednesday, the 2nd of October 2019.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
Fair and Lovely Men ගෑවට පස්සේ මාක්ස් අඩු වෙලා ෆෑනස් වැඩි වෙලා.
මාක්ස් අඩු කරලා ඔයාගේ ෆෑනස් ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක වැඩි කරගන්න. Fair and Lovely Men anti marks cream.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Well, a very good evening to you and welcome to First at 9 on AdaDerana 24, Sri Lanka's news channel. I'm Katharina Chang on your top story tonight. A 7-member bench of the Supreme Court today granted leave to proceed with the 12 fundamental rights petitions filed against IGP Pujit Jayasundara, former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando and several other respondents. The petitions were filed by 12 parties, including the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, alleging that the respondents' failure to act on prior intelligence reports and prevent the deadly Easter Sunday terrorist attacks that claimed the lives of hundreds infringed upon the fundamental rights of the people. The petition sought an order from the Supreme Court to investigate and prosecute them under the Penal Code. Chaired by Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya, the bench consisted of Justices Buwanekala Vihare, Sisira Diabru, Priyantha Jayawardena, Prasanna Jayawardena, LTP Dehidenia and Murdu Fernando. IGP Pujit Jayasundara, former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando, Deputy Inspector General of Police Priyalal Disanaika and several other respondents were ordered to submit objections against the petitions before the 8th of November. Attorney Sunil Watagala, who appeared on behalf of the petitioners, stated after the hearing that the outcome of this case would expose the inaction of public servants and politicians and send out a signal to them via the Supreme Court that public safety must be ensured at all costs.
කිසකෙස් යනවාද විසඳුම දින 6න් පුරාණයේ පටන් භාවිතා කරන ඉපැරණි ශාකසාර වට්ටුරුවකට අනුව නිපදවන ගානීෂා hair growth oil සියලුම ෆාමසි සහ වෙළඳ සැල් වලින්.
The petition filed against SLPP presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa challenging his Sri Lankan citizenship was taken up before the Court of Appeal today. Attorneys representing the petitioners claimed that former President Mahinda Rajapaksa did not hold the necessary powers at the time to sign documents issuing the SLPP presidential hopefuls dual citizenship status. The Deputy Solicitor General representing the state, however, argued that the President's executive powers allow him or her to hold powers of the Cabinet of Ministers in the absence of the Cabinet. The petition filed in the Court of Appeal on the 30th of September by civil society activists Gamini Viyangoda and Professor Chandragupta Tenuvara, challenging SLPP presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa's Sri Lankan citizenship, was taken up for consideration today. The petition was taken up by the 3-member judge bench comprising of Appeals Court President Justice Yasantha Kodagoda, Justices Mahinda Samyawardena and Arjuna Abesekara. Petitioners also sought an interim order suspending Rajapaksa's passport and national identity card pending the court's verdict. When the petition was taken up in court today, Deputy Solicitor General Nereen Pulle, representing the Attorney General's office, produced relevant documents from the Department of Immigration and Emigration as well as the Department for Registration of Persons. The State Attorney noted that the dual citizenship status application and the citizenship confirmation of the SLPP presidential candidate, who is named as the 5th respondent in the petition, are not among these documents. The Deputy Solicitor General pointed out that the department did not hold any files regarding dual citizenship applicants prior to 2007, including that of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He highlighted that a ledger maintained by the Department of Immigration and Immigration mentions a number for Rajapaksa's dual citizenship application and a note that he had paid for the process. When inquired as to why there aren't any files prior to 2007, the Deputy Solicitor General had stated the relocation of the department's main office from Bambalapitiya to Punchaburalla as the reason. In response, President Counsel Romesh De Silva, representing Gotabaya Rajapaksa, rejected the stated reason, stating that files cannot be misplaced simply because of a relocation of the department's main office. Following these developments, the President of the Appeals Court, Justice Yasantha Kodagud, instructed the Attorney General's office to obtain reasons in writing from the Department of Immigration and Immigration as to the non-availability of files prior to 2007. President Counsel Romesh De Silva also pointed out that if the CID's B report into how Rajapaksa obtained his passport and national identity card is not provided to the attorneys assigned for considering the petition, it will be put to his client at a disadvantage. President Counsel Gamini Marapana, who represents 6th respondent of the petition, Opposition Leader Mahinda Rajapaksa, meanwhile noted that his particular CID investigation was launched after a complaint lodged by the petitioners on an earlier occasion. The President Council argued that civil society activist Gamini Viyangoda and Professor Chandragupta Tenuvara hold a clear political agenda by seeking a writ order during an ongoing CID investigation. However, the President of the Appeals Court announced that his opposition will be considered before the court at a later date. Attorney Suren Fernando, who represents the petitioners, argued that the dual citizenship confirmation of Gotabaya Rajapaksa is a nullified document before the law. Fernando insisted that under the 19th article of the Citizenship Act, issuance of dual citizenship lies only with the relevant subject minister and that former President Mahinda Rajapaksa did not have the necessary powers to do so at the time. In response, Deputy Solicitor General Nerine Pulle pointed out that the President possesses executive powers under the Constitution to hold powers of the Cabinet of Ministers in the absence of a Cabinet, which in turn allows the President to wield powers of the subject minister overlooking citizenship issues. Petition will be reconsidered in court at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. Sri Lanka Pulajana Perumuna presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa pledged to work towards the expansion of the Sri Lanka police and include necessary benefits and opportunities, as he believes that stronger police force is essential to ensure the country's peace and security. He expressed these views at the Sri Lanka People's Party convention today. A special convention of the Sri Lanka People's Party was held in Kurunegala today under the patronage of opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa and SLPP presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The Sri Lanka People's Party pledged its support for the SLPP presidential hopeful at the convention today.
I propose that we give you the support to win this presidential election. I humbly request all of you to second that proposal.
මම බොහොම ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලා හිටිනවා එම යෝජනාව අතෝසවා සම්මත කරන ලෙස. බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
මේ රජය ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදීව
The government knows that it cannot win this election, and hence they are resorting to plots. But I am confident that I can win with a landslide. The role of the police is imperative for a disciplined and peaceful country. If we don't provide the necessary empowerment, manpower and benefits to the police, they won't be able to carry out their duties efficiently. There is an issue with promotions. We must create the opportunity for skilled individuals to reach up through to higher ranks. That will ensure capable, high-ranking officers who are skilled and knowledgeable. I will provide opportunities for graduates and experienced officers to reach ASP positions. I will also expand the Sri Lanka police as needed.
විශාල කරන්නට ක්‍රියා කරනවායි කියන එකත් මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මම ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නට ඕන.
අද එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය දෙකට කැඩිලා. දැන් වාද දෙනෙක් වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ.
The UNP has divided into two factions now, and most of them aren't doing any work. This is why they want to have a poster campaign. This has resulted in a halt to the development process of the country. They are currently resorting to filing various court cases as political revenge. There are two Solicitor Generals in Sri Lanka now. The former Solicitor General said she had to file the court case against Gotabaya Rajapaksa under political pressure. We propose that a parliamentary inquiry be conducted to look into this incident. They are putting up all of these posters using public funds and they haven't taken down any of them. We have lodged complaints with the election commissioner and these activities must be stopped now.
Our speculation was rife of a possible UNF-SLFP alliance after a meeting between United National Front presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa and President Maithripala Sirisena last night at the President's official residence in Colombo. However, details of the outcome have been scarce, with both sides remaining non-committal.
The meeting between UNF and SLFP delegations commenced at 9 p.m. last night, attended by UNF presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa, UNP General Secretary Minister Akila Viraj Karyawasam and Minister Kabir Hashim. It was the result of a request for discussions on the upcoming presidential election forwarded by UNP General Secretary Akila Viraj Karyawasam to SLFP General Secretary Dayasiri Jayasekara. The SLFP delegation included its General Secretary Dayasiri Jayasekara, UPFA General Secretary Mahinda Amaravira and SLFP Treasurer Lasantha Alagiyawanna. The meeting came in the backdrop of the SLFP's decision to reveal its final stance on talks with the SLPP supporting the candidature of Gotabaya Rajapaksa after the 5th of October when the party's Central Working Committee meets next. Both parties remained tight-lipped after the 1.5-hour meeting, avoiding media comments on the outcome. Both parties, however, expressed views on the meeting at media briefings held today.
The
UNP had requested a meeting with the President in order to discuss the situation in the country. This won't affect our journey no matter who we hold discussions with. We had a discussion with the President about the current political situation in the country. There is no need for a special reason in order to have discussions with the President.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna also held a media briefing today.
The General Secretary of the UNP forwarded a letter to the General Secretary of the SLFP requesting a discussion. This is the first time something like this has happened, and the question is why the UNP is seeking help from the SLFP if they can win with the support of Rajitha, Rishad, Arjuna, Mano and Digambaram. Do they think this is still a joint government? The President revealed recently the main reason why he is having an issue with the Prime Minister, which is not personal but problems with the PM's political policy. The PM implemented the government's policy and it is the same policy that Sajid Premadasa followed in the past 4.5 years.
Presidential hopeful of the United National Front, Minister Sajid Premadasa insists that there will be greater freedom to take legal action against wrongdoers once he is elected the head of state. Minister Premadasa expressed these views during a media briefing held in Colombo today.
Former UPFA ministers Atauda Senviratna and W.E. Ekanaika pledged their support to presidential candidate of the United National Front, Minister Sajid Premadasa, today. Once I'm elected the president, I will make sure to contribute my salary as the head of state for the benefit of the poor. I will also not live in the official state residence. I will also take action to transform all of these state residences into modern-day information technology sites. I will tell you all about it on another day. There will be freedom to take any legal action against any incidents of corruption and other crimes. We should not get involved in these proceedings as politicians. A presidential election is being held to change the president and no other position. This is only a presidential election and not an election to bring changes to the position of the Prime Minister or Cabinet. Meanwhile, General Secretary of the UNP Minister Akila Viraj Karyawasam stated that the candidature of Minister Sajid Premadasa for the upcoming presidential election will be confirmed tomorrow at the party's convention.
The Election Commission announces that 17 candidates have so far handed over deposits for the presidential election 2019. Out of these candidates, 9 are from recognized political parties, while 8 are independent candidates or represent non-traditional political parties.
The accepting of nomination deposits for the upcoming presidential election ends at noon on the 6th of October. The Election Commission will begin accepting nominations for the presidential poll from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the 7th of October, while objections for the nominations can be submitted from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. the same day. Meanwhile, the closing date for submitting postal vote applications, which was set to end on 30th of September, was extended until midnight on the 4th of October. This decision had been taken due to the prevailing inclement weather conditions and ongoing trade union action.
A special meeting has taken place between the leader of the Ceylon Workers' Congress parliamentarian Armugam Tondaman and Deputy Chief of Mission at the US Embassy in Colombo, Martin T. Kelly, yesterday.
Now that the candidates are out, now we have to feel the pulse of the people. Yeah. Because earlier it was like more of a one-off race.
Everyone seems to think it's going to be a pretty close race.
Very, very tight race.
Yeah. What do you think will make the difference?
One is, if you take the minorities, they could have done it in a better way, but they said unity and all that. So that has got the majority community more closer. It might be a better thing with Sajid, he's a young person. He might have. Then again, they say, no, again, if he comes, it's the president post is dummy. But he is the prime minister again. So they said, then what happens? You know, like nobody is still clear about anything. Yeah. And you have another 45 days to election. Media will play a big role.
Is everyone going to decide at the last minute?
Others, we of course, I think we will take another one week to decide.
Lord Ahmed of Wimbledon, British Minister of State for the Commonwealth, UN and South Asia, has commended the government's efforts to strengthen the process of reconciliation in the midst of severe challenges following the Easter Sunday attacks. Lord Ahmed, who is on a brief visit to Sri Lanka, expressed these views when he called on President Maithripala Sirisena at the President's official residence in Colombo yesterday. He had also stressed the need for international cooperation in combating the global terrorism threat in all its forms. At the meeting, President Sirisena thanked the United Kingdom for its timely assistance provided to Sri Lanka to strengthen the country's security situation in the aftermath of the attacks. Meanwhile, Senior Additional Solicitor General Sanjay Rajaratnam has been appointed as Acting Solicitor General with immediate effect today. Rajaratnam's appointment comes ahead of Solicitor General Rukshidas Wickramasinghe's interdiction on the 24th of September pending an inquiry into a controversial leaked phone conversation with Avantgarde Chairman Nissanka Senadipati. Coordinating Officer for the Attorney General State Counsel Nisha Rajaratna revealed that the Public Service Commission has been informed of the decision regarding the appointment. On other local news, the Cabinet of Ministers has approved recommendations presented by the Cabinet Subcommittee appointed to look into salary anomalies in government institutions. The Cabinet Subcommittee, chaired by Finance Minister Mangda Samravira, was appointed on the 27th of September amidst ongoing trade union action. Committee members include Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, Akle Viraj Karyavasam and State Minister of Transport Ashok Abesinghe. The subcommittee has recommended amendments to executive pay for the Sri Lanka Administrative Service and other government officers entitled to this allowance. Executive pay provided to government officers varies from 3,000 to 15,000 rupees based on service length. The subcommittee has proposed the granting of executive pay minus this requirement. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Administrative Service said they would end the strike action that commenced last month. However, strike action launched by railway services continued for the 7th consecutive day today. And with that, we go into a short commercial break, but make sure you stay tuned for more news right after that. Welcome back to the news. Devotees who won chances in the 7th stage of FM Derana's Dambadiva Vandana draw reached the ancient city of Rajagahanuvara today after engaging in religious observances at the Vishala Mahanuvara. They also received the opportunity to visit the Nalanda Buddhist Bhikkhu University, engage in further religious observances at the Sugandha Kutiya located at the Gitchakuta rock where Lord Buddha is said to have graced with his presence. The devotees will observe Sil at the Sacred Bodh Gaya tomorrow. On to business news. The Colombo Stock Exchange, in association with the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka, held a forum for the business community in the Eastern Province to raise awareness on capital raising options available to entrepreneurs through a stock exchange listing. The event marked the first occasion of a forum on stock exchange listings has been hosted in the Eastern Province. The event held in Batticaloa was part of an awareness drive organised by the CSE and SEC around the country to present the Empower Board, which is a CSE's listing platform dedicated to SMEs and growth companies. The series has so far reached out to business communities in Anuradhapura, Negombo, Kurunegala, Kandy, Jaffna and Mathura. Sri Lanka's stocks fell for the fourth straight session to a 10-week closing low, with the all-share price index ending 0.62% lower at 5,697.93 today. Market turnover was 500.2 million rupees, less than this year's daily average of about 658.5 million rupees. Foreign investors were net sellers of 53.6 million rupees worth of shares, extending the year-to-date net foreign outflow to 2.62 billion rupees of equities. Here's a look at a brief report on how the markets performed during the day.
Secondary bond market yield curve remained almost unchanged, while overall market witnessed thin volumes. In the stock market, concluded the day in red, dragged down by Ceylon Tobacco and Hemas Holdings. During the day, Ceylon Tobacco recorded 2 crossings while contributing approximately 43% to the turnover.
Meanwhile, the rupee ended 0.16% firm at 181 to 182 rupees and 10 cents against the US dollar, compared to yesterday's close of 182 rupees and 20 to 40 cents. Let's now take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee traded against other major currencies during the day. We are now going to a short commercial break. Stay tuned. China's 70th anniversary celebrations of Communist Party rule were marred by the shooting of a protester by Hong Kong police during continued demonstrations yesterday. The 18-year-old protester was shot in the chest while attacking riot police and is reportedly in critical condition. Hong Kong Police Chief Stephen Low claimed that the shooting constituted justifiable force and that the officer concerned acted in defense of his colleagues. A total of 25 riot police officers have been injured since protests began 17 weeks ago, with this being the first case of a protester injured by police action. It was reported that 104 people were taken to the hospital and 180 were arrested. South Korean officials have reported that North Korea have fired a ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan today, a day after announcing the resumption of nuclear talks with the US. The move represents a significant escalation in the run-up to the talks next week. South Korean officials reported that the missile may have reached an altitude of 910 kilometers before landing in the sea off the coast of Japan. This latest launch counts as the 11th missile test this year, with South Korean national security officials expressing concern that the missile may have been launched from a submarine platform. South Korea's military said the missile was launched from around Wonsan, the site of one of North Korea's military bases on the east coast towards the sea. North Korea had been developing SLBM technology before it suspended long-range missile and nuclear tests and began talks with the United States that led to the first summit between Kim and Trump in Singapore in June 2018. On other international news, US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has confirmed he was listening in as the president asked Ukraine to investigate a political opponent. The call between Donald Trump and President Volodymyr Zelensky is at the center of a democratic impeachment inquiry against Donald Trump. Pompeo dodged questions about the call in an interview just days ago. President Trump denies improperly pressuring Ukraine and has accused opponents of mounting a coup. During the conversation, which triggered a whistleblower's formal complaint, the US President asked Zelensky to investigate Democratic rival Joe Biden and his son Hunter. Pompeo's admission during a news conference in Italy came after media reported that he was party to the conversation as well. He did not directly answer a question on whether anything in the phone call alarmed him, but said it had focused on US policy with Ukraine. The Democratic Unionist Party has endorsed Boris Johnson's offer to the EU. The Prime Minister's deal includes the creation of an all-island regulatory zone for agriculture, food and all manufactured goods. Previously, the DUP opposed any form of divergence in trade regulations between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. However, the party says the latest proposal ensures the consent to align with EU trade rules. There were two matches in the Rugby World Cup currently underway in Japan today. The first to take to the field were France and the USA. France scored 3 late tries for a 33-9 bonus point victory over the US. The Blue now faces Tonga on Sunday, while USA plays Argentina next Wednesday. Meanwhile, defending champion New Zealand took on hapless Canada as the All Black delivered a masterclass in the day's second match. The defending champions ran in 8 tries, with a penalty try also awarded to compound the misery of Canada. In the end, the All Blacks scored 63 unanswered points to extend their winning streak across 3 World Cups to 16 matches. In tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic of Serbia had little trouble progressing to the quarterfinals of the Japan Open with a 6-3, 7-5 win over local favourite Go Soda in Tokyo today. Meanwhile, at the China Open, Andy Murray, is returning from injury, came through 3 sets against a fellow Briton.
Former world number 1 Andy Murray beat Cameron Norrie today at the China Open to go through to his first quarter-final match since his return from hip surgery. Murray was forced to dig deep against his fellow Briton Norrie before running out the winner 7-6, 6-7, 6-1 in a match that lasted just short of 3 hours. The 3-time Grand Slam champion will next face the winner of the match between top seed Dominic Thiem of Austria and China's Shi Zhenjiang. Meanwhile, Russia's Karen Khachanov booked a quarter-final berth with a 7-6, 7-6 win over Frenchman Jeremy Chardy.
And on that note, we conclude this edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant evening.